My name is Oludapo Shoremi. I'm one of the physicians here at Nightlight Pediatrics. I am a pediatrician by training. Apart from that, I also did a critical care fellowship in taking care of very sick children in the ICU. I joined the practice in 1999 from University of Florida after doing my fellowship there, and then I've been with the practice since then. Yes, I have. I've received both doses and I've received the Pfizer vaccine. Yes, my father is 77 years old and he's received his first dose as well. No, I did not because I looked at the safety data and I also read a lot about the side effects of the vaccine and I wasn't worried at all. The more common ones are they are quite minor, meaning pain at the site of injection. Some people might develop fever. Some people might just be fatigued. Some have described vomiting or diarrhea. And that's pretty much, those are the common ones, but those are short lived. Within a day or two, they disappear. No, it does not. They recruited, especially the Moderna one, they recruited a lot of minorities, African Americans, the Hispanic population in there too. And there is no difference in efficacy or safety for this vaccine. So it works just the same for everybody. There is no preference right now. There has been instances in which they thought that people with type O blood they may be less prone to getting the COVID itself, the disease itself. But again, that is still being debated at this point, so it's not a done deal. But as far as the vaccine, no. That would be a mistake. You still need a vaccine. And the reason why I say that is because we don't know yet how long this antibodies is going to last after a natural disease, after a natural illness. So so you should get the vaccine even if you have had the disease. Plus, the vaccines are beginning to show at least efficacy against the variants as well. So getting those shots will probably help with those as well. So it's not known yet how long this immunity is going to last with the natural disease. So it's best to get the vaccine. Everybody that has had COVID should also get the vaccine as well. It's difficult to tell what which strain is going to come up, which one is not. But as far as we know right now, these vaccines they're effective against these new strains. Obviously, you are not going to get the 94, 95% that you get for the common strain that is the most common one at this point. However, with all the other strains that have been discovered, it's been shown at least lab wise that it's effective against those. You cannot get the virus from getting the shot. And the reason is because, from what I said earlier on, it's the genetic code for a particular part of the virus that we are getting. When you get vaccinated, that's what you get. You don't get the whole virus. You need the whole virus to get sick. So what you're getting is just that little part of the virus. That part is important because that's the part that you use to attach to the cells. But that's all you're getting. So once your body recognizes that protein, then it develops the antibody to it. So it is not the same as the flu shot. You cannot get COVID from getting the vaccines. It wasn't rushed. And the reason why I said that is because the mRNA platform itself has been in the works for a long time. Some people even estimate as many as 10 years that in the making. But because the genetic code was available, that they published earlier in the course of the pandemic, the pharmaceutical companies were actually able to do that, and it's really a technological advancement rather than cutting corners or anything like that. They went through all the other things that needed to be done. There was a little advantage for people for this, because why things uh, happen so quickly is because when you develop vaccine regularly, you don't have millions of people all over the world with this disease. So when you develop vaccine, especially in the pediatric arena, you have to wait until you get those diseases and for people to develop those diseases. It takes a long time, it takes years. But at the same time, you don't have a lot of people with millions and being affected at the same time. So that's why you were able, those all these pharmaceutical companies were able to get all this data quite quickly. And so that's why the studies are being done. So they were able to get the data a little bit faster than usual. So for the folks with diabetes and cardio issues, they should get the vaccine because the vaccine has been shown to be safe and effective in those population. The people with the immune compromise or immune deficiency, the vaccine is also safe for them as well. The question in that population is really the efficacy, whether or not it's going to work as well for them. But the recommendation right now is that they can get the vaccine. They just need to talk to their doctors. People that are immune compromised are folks with cancer, blood diseases, and stuff like that. But it's not contraindicated for them. They can get the vaccine. They just need to have a discussion with their doctor, and that's pretty much it. So it's safe for everybody, pretty much. However, efficacy in the immune compromised folks is the only thing really that they need to talk to their doctor about. Yes. So the folks that shouldn't get the vaccine, the FDA gave three strict criteria. The first one is that if you have any kind of allergic reaction after you get your first dose, with whatever level and stuff like that. No matter how, if it's after the first dose, no matter the level, whether it was severe, mild, you shouldn't get it's contraindicated. If you have allergy to any, remember when I said that this genetic code is enveloped in a little lipid envelope. Well, those lipid envelopes, if you are allergic to any of those things, component of it, then you should not get the vaccine. And then if you had, obviously, if you had a severe allergic reaction to the first dose, also you shouldn't get the vaccine. That's decision is dangerous in a way, and the reason why I said that is because while waiting, you could get sick from it. The problem with this virus really is that I've seen young people die from this vaccine, from this virus. So you just don't know how your body is going to react when you contract this infection. So I think seizing the opportunity as soon as your first opportunity that comes to get the vaccine, I think you should get it. The other point is that if you are the one that is waiting for I just want enough people to get it. Well, there's about 66 million people in the US right now that has gotten this vaccine already. They've gotten either the first or the second dose. So that's number one. And it's about over 220 million people in the whole world that has get it. So I'm not sure what they will be waiting for at that point. It's a lot of people that has gotten these vaccines already. That's a good point. There has to be recognition of such, vaccine and medical injustice that has been done to the minority population. However, it is currently at this point, because medical science now and the way the vaccine was developed, it is a little more transparent. I would say. And there were a lot of people of color that were involved, even from the developmental stage of it to the PI part of it, which are basically the principal investigators, the people that were actually administering the vaccines to people, up until the physicians and people that are giving the shot as well. So there is a lot of transparency. There's a lot of um, minorities that are actually involved in the development, pretty much in every stage of this vaccine, too, in which it eventually ends up in our arms. There has been people of color involved with that. So I don't think that we can compare these to that time. However, it is always good though to keep that in mind, just because there is still issue of health inequity in the country, and that's one of the that sometimes causes the reason why minorities might not be getting these vaccines and not getting at the rate as their white counterpart or Hispanic counterpart. But it is important to mention that. But I think that now in 2021, there are so many guidelines now that have been instituted in terms of patient consent, in terms of explaining to patients before they get vaccinated, and all the other rights that the patients have at this point. I think it will be extremely difficult to do what happened, to do exactly what happened, to replicate what happened in the 1930s with stuff like the Tuskegee experiment and stuff like that. So it will be difficult to do that nowadays. You just don't know how this virus is going to affect you. And the other thing is not taking the vaccine or is also risky because of the fact that you are not able to take care of yourself. If you get it, you're not protecting yourself as much as you should. But the other thing is that you are sort of putting the community at large in danger as well. And the reason is because the more people get infected, the more virus jumps from one person to the other. So you give this virus an opportunity to mutate, and now you get all this variant. As you can see, the more variants we get, the vaccine are becoming less and less effective for them. I think that not vaccinating is I think is a little bit risky, because again you put yourself at risk and you essentially put the community at risk as well. We do not want to be in a situation in which the vaccine is not working, is not effective for the new variant. Then we have another problem. The good news though is that the pharmaceutical companies know this. They know that. So what they're doing really is that they are preparing for, in case they start seeing variant that are not protected by that is not responding to the vaccine, and they are ready to change the platform and in a relatively short period of time. So they know this, and they will continue to monitor this. So for now though, I think the vaccine is effective for pretty much all the variants that are available in the country at this point. That's a good question to ask. However, there has been some data that suggests that if you get the vaccine, you may not transmit it to another person. But it is not well documented yet. They don't know that yet for sure. Some people suspect that's the situation, but they don't know that for sure. So that's why you could be protected. You may have your two shots and be protected, but you can still give the virus to another person. That is a possibility. Although again, like I said earlier on, a lot of people are thinking that it does reduce your chances of spreading it as well. But that is not known yet. That's why you still need to continue to wear a mask and keep social distance. However, there is an estimate, and the numbers vary depending on who you talk to. That once we get about 70 to about 85% of the population vaccinated, we then should be able to take off our mask and go about our business at that point. But we need that number. Right now, just people that have been vaccinated just alone, we're still around, I think, 13% or so. And so we're still ways away from that. So we still need to continue to keep social distancing and use face masks. People they tend to compare the efficacy of these vaccines together. Um, it is not a apples to apples comparison sometimes, and the reason why I said that is because When Pfizer and Moderna did their trial, it was way earlier in the pandemic. When Johnson and Johnson and AstraZeneca are doing theirs, it's a little later on in the pandemic, and so they have to deal with the variant and the rest of the other stuff. So you might see a difference in the efficacy. But what I advocate is that just get the vaccine when it's available for you. Whichever one is available, just go ahead and get it. And the reason is just because all those vaccines have been shown to be effective in protecting against severe disease. So that's ultimately our goal. We don't want to go to the hospital and we don't want to die from it. All of these vaccines are pretty good at doing that. That's preventing us from doing that.